Eternal God, we ask your help, for our need is great. Our days fly past in quick succession, and we cannot look back without regret or ahead without misgiving. We seek to understand the mystery of our own lives, but our effort is in vain. And when suffering and death strike those we love, our faith all but fails us, and we forget that we are your children. God, help us now to feel your presence when our own weaknesses and the storms of life hide you from our sight. Help us to know that you are with us still. Uphold us with the comfort of your love. Yom Kippur without my father and without my mother is not Yom Kippur. From the blessing of their hands on my head, just the tremor has remained like the tremor of an engine that didn't stop even after their death. Susie Coppola is going to light our first candle.
Together, we were like two guide wires supporting a fragile sapling. Our tenuous lives, dreams, fantasies entwined as one. Slowly, the sapling flourished, rooted, produced two sons. One day, after 42 years, without warning, you let go.
Please read silently. Ruth Geller is going to light our second candle.
The courage that my mother had, the courage that my mother had went with her and is with her still, went with her, and she was a rock from Poland, quarried, and now the granite is on a granite hill. The golden brooch that my mother wore, she left behind for me to wear, and I have no thing that I treasure more. Yes, it is something I could spare. Oh, If instead she'd left me the things she took into the grave, the courage, like a rock, which she has no more need of, and I really have.
I lift up mine eyes to the mountains, from which shall come my help. My help shall come from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. May your footsteps never falter. Sleep not, nor God, either sleep not, nor slumber. Israel's God, the Lord will guard you from evil. He will guard your soul. The Lord will guard your going and coming, both now and forever.
Randy Lester Wilson will light our third candle.
The memory of my father is wrapped up in white paper, like sandwiches taking for a day at work. Just as a magician takes towers and rabbits out of his hat, he drove love from his small body. And the rivers of his hands overflowed with good deeds.
Carol Lee Jaspin will light our fourth candle.
Footprints. Everything will remember that I was here. The ships will be the color of my clothing. The birds will use my voice for singing. The fishermen on the rock will ponder my poem. The river will follow my footprints.
Let's read these meditations silently. Marilyn Orens will light our 5th candle.
Let evening come. Let the light of late afternoon shine through chinks in the barn, moving up the bales as the sun moves down. Let the cricket take up chafing as a woman takes up her needles and her yarn. Let evening come. Let dew collect on the hoe abandoned in long grass. Let the stars appear and the moon disclose her silver horn. Let the fox go back to its sandy den. Let the wind die down. Let the shed go black inside. Let evening come. To the bottle in the ditch, to the scoop in the oats, to air in the lung, let evening come. Let it come as it will, and don't be afraid. God does not leave us comfortless, so let evening come.
בידו אבהיר רוחי, בעת ישן וירא, ואם רוחי גוויתי, אדוני לי ולא אירא, ואם רוחי my soul I give to you, my spirit in your hand. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Hold me in your hand. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Safely in your hand. Beato
Gail Webb is going to light our 6th candle.
One leaf left on a branch, and not a sound of sadness or despair. One leaf left on a branch, and no unhappiness. One leaf left all by itself in the air, and it does not speak of loneliness or death. One leaf, and it spends itself in swaying mildly in the breeze.
Blessed is the pilgrimage from grief to gratitude. Precious are the sights along the way. We pray for humility, to see in all things the great artist of eternity, for generosity, to respond to the gift of life by giving of ourselves, for strength to hold on to life and let it go. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekor HaChaim, blessed are you, Holy One, who gives and renews life. And Jim Warrens is going to light our seventh and final candle.
God is my shepherd, I shall not want. God gives me rest in green pasture, guides me by the restful waters, refreshes my soul, directs me along straight trails for the sake of God's name. Even when I pass through the valley of ominous shadows, I am not frightened, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff calm me. You provide for me even if there are enemies about. Your care exceeds all expectation. My cup overflows. Truly, a generous goodness will pursue me all the days of my life, and I shall be with God as long as I live.
Our loved ones live in our broken hearts, and at times that brings some measure of healing. Their acts of kindness and generosity are the inheritance they leave behind. We feel their absence, but the beauty of their lives abides among us. As it is said, the name of one who has died shall not disappear. Our loved ones' names and their memories will endure among us. These are the names on our lips and in our hearts of those who have passed in the last year, members of our congregation, and relatives of some of our members.
יש כוכבים שאורם מגיע ארצה, רק כאשר הם עצמם עבדו בינם. יש אנשים שזיו זכרם מאיר, כאשר הם עצמם אינם עוד בתוכנו. אורות אלה המבהיקים בחשכת הליל, הם שמראים לאדם את הדרך, את הדרך. הם שמראים לאדם את הדרך, את הדרך. יש כוכבים שאורם מגיע ארצה, רק כאשר הם עצמם עבדו בינם. יש אנשים שזיו זכרם מאיר, כאשר הם עצמם אינם עוד בתוכנו. אורות אלה המבהיקים בחשכת הליל, הם שמראים לאדם את הדרך, El male rachamim, shochen b'maromim, hametzeh menucha nechona, hametzeh menucha nechona, תחת כנפי השכינה, עם קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מסעירים, לנשמות יקירינו שלחו לעולמם. בעל הרחמים יסתירם בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויסור בצור החיים את נשמתם, אדוני הוא נחלתם. וינוחו בשלום על משכבם, ונאמר אמן.
A poem by Yehuda Amichai. What is the correct way to stand at a memorial ceremony? Erect or stooped? Pulled taut as a tent or in the slumped posture of mourning? Head bowed like the guilty or held high in a collective protest against death? Eyes gaping frozen like the eyes of the dead or shut tight to see stars inside? And what is the best time for remembering? At noon, when shadows are hidden beneath our feet? Or at twilight, when shadows lengthen like longings that have no beginning, no end, like God? We now mention the names of those who've passed on in the last week. Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and people for whom we are observing Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning: Mardell Taylor, Jeff White, brother of Sandy Friedman, Olive Hayes, uncle of Kenny Hayes. If someone you're thinking of today passed away in the last 30 days or in the last year, please put their name in the chat. Billy Petrushka, Werner Kopel and Arnie Geller, Linda Van Beek, Elise Silverman, Pat Thiel, Susan Jones, Robert Berlin, Scott Evans, Gordon Bone, Valdine Petty, Carl Petty, Mike Sokolow, Scott Morey, Bert Rosner, Brian Bradshaw, Lori Liepman, Gail Tennyson, Halleck Diaz, Reverend Jane Carl, Elaine Marcus, Dr. Bob Levy, Ellie Silverman, Bert Brody, George Revis, Larry Singer, Robert Mayer, Tom Fischler, Betty Dudley, Reverend Theatlis Rager, Elizabeth Sutterberg, Barry Glickman, Susan Gechtman, Pat Easton, Adele Lucas, we're also observing yard sites for Gerard Loeb, Fanny Aronovitz, Miriam Lapidus, Nathan Falk, Irving Jaspin, Myrna S. Jaspin, Tilly Falk, Joseph Lask, Frank Dahlia Jr., Arnold Farber, Wolfie Ice, Steve Robard, Sanford Dick, Nissim Gershon, Nathaniel Winston, Harry Maxman, Solomon Isaacs Aarons, Anna R. Figeton, Jonathan Charkow, Beverly Schur, Anna Maslovsky, John Bradley Clapham, Grace Brill, Rose Cohen, Rose Weinberg, Meyer Levitt, Sarah Chernak, Coleman Horowitz, Ann Mursky. And if you're observing a yard site, please put the name in the chat. We also think of those who perished in the Holocaust and have no one to say the mourner's Kaddish for them. Please join me, though, without your microphones on, please. Yikadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divrach yehutei v'yamlich malhutei, v'chayachon v'yamechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'alam l'olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yidromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu. Le'ela u'le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, as together we say, Amen. We have a little time before Neilah, so I would like to invite people to unmute, to put on their cameras, and I'd like to ask if you'd like to share something, a memory of the person you're thinking about today. If you feel so moved, please do so. It can be a memory. Please,
The camera won't work.
who is saying that?
Marcia?
Marcia. Wait, I got to find you, Marcia, because I will make it work for you.
It says start my video.
I will start it for you.
There it is. She was.
I can see you.
Are you on?
Yeah.
Okay. So would anybody like to share a memory of somebody or a value that you received from the person you're thinking about today?
I would like to mention how important the children of Temple Bethel were to Arnie, and how important actually not just the children in Temple Bethel, but all of the residents that he trained for so many years. He loved passing on his knowledge. He was just incredible in his own quiet way, but with a sense of humor that not everyone understood. But it meant a lot to him. And I think being on religious education for maybe 20, 30 years, it was something that was important to him. And Judaism, of course, was such an integral part of his whole life. And he would have been very honored to see the remembrances that we had tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ruth.
Thank
He was
you,
very
Rabbi.
important to the education committee. He was wonderful on that. So we
Werner would
appreciate
have-
all the time he spent with us.
Werner would have been very honored by today. And he was a wonderful, very quiet, shy man, but he
Her
loved
son.
his family and his work. And He was a wonderful
I
husband.
don't think Bill is still on.
68 years.
Bill isn't still on.
We hear you.
Mute yourself.
I remember my son died many, many years ago. But I remember one of the last things we did, he had a class in San Diego, and afterwards we went to SeaWorld or Wild Animal Park, one of those. And I was cold, and he gave me his jacket and put it around my shoulders and put his arm around me. And I remember that whenever I think of him, I remember that closeness and his caring and his love, because he was a very considerate young man, and he's greatly missed.
Beautiful. By the way, Christine said that Arnie was a great mentor to her when she started teaching in the religious school.
So I wanted to share with the last time I really got to spend time with my dad because of COVID, we're kind of spending time apart, but I was thinking about buying Nolan his first car, and I brought the car over to drive with him because my dad used to be in the car business, and he always wanted to have a say in everything that had to do with cars. And so I picked him up and we drove around, and he gave his approval for that car. And so I'm so grateful for that time and that we did that.
That's lovely.
And her father was a wonderful man. He was just a delight. We had spent some time as well with him.
Thank you, Marcia.
Anybody else like to share?
Yeah, I wanted to say something.
Please,
Can you hear me?
Rosemary.
Okay. My son that's gone, I will never forget when he was 18. He went down the stairs and he turned back to me and he said, "Don't worry, Mom, you did a good job. I will be all right for the rest of my life." And he sure was. He was a fabulous coin dealer and had a wonderful business. But I will never forget the look back at me to tell me, "Don't worry," like he was leaving home and I didn't have to, that I did a good job raising him.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That memory is in my mind.
Thank you.
We have a similar memory from our son Doug. We were all driving in the car and his younger brother was with him. The two guys were in the back seat, and Doug was 18 at that time. And he said, "Eli, I want to tell you something. You may think Mom and Dad don't know too much, but really they're very smart. And you'll realize that as you get older, because I'm realizing that now, and I know how much they've taught me." And so it's similar to what you said, and yeah, that's so neat. I wonder if 18 is the magic age for that. Who knows?
That's great. Unfortunately, too many people in this congregation have lost children, and that just is not natural.
That's very sad.
Yeah. It's a broken heart for sure.
I mean, the way we keep people alive is by remembering something important that they taught us, or by pursuing something that was important to them. So that might be something you'd like to share.
And it's really important. I know, like when we're doing Dove's yard site at Temple, well, when we used to go to Temple to do it, so many people that knew him would come up to us and say something about him. And that continued for years and years. I mean, it's been like 25, 26 years already. And people still keep coming up and saying something. And that means so much to us. We really appreciate that. So thank you, everybody who's ever done that.
I'd like to say something. It was so nice to see Norma's picture in the scroll. And she was just a really lovely friend to me. So welcoming when we got here, and so supportive and encouraging, and such a laugh as well. She was just full of spirit and full of fun, and she and Heshi would turn up to all of the things that we had going, and just the two of them, such fun and such a pleasure, really. Just a real great role models and great energy, and it was super to see her picture, because I do miss her, and and remember her.
Thank you, Christina.
Norma passed away it was about 1:30 in the morning, and it was the next evening around 8:30 when my father passed away. Their graves are probably 10 feet from each other. So whenever we go to visit one, we always visit the other. And the connections that we shared with South Dakota and our experiences in growing up as Air Force kids, Susan and her siblings, as well as myself and one of 5 kids, that closeness remains past the grave. And so I'm so grateful for, even in the midst of that sorrow, that we've been able to find the love and the sustenance that we've needed to carry on in their memories.
It's so nice that the older generation has been such a great help and provided so much mentorship to younger people. I remember when the Fishmans were alive, and they taught Sean how to do magic tricks, which he tried to perform at his bar mitzvah. Always wonderful to have them hang around.
If I may comment.
I'm sorry, Bill?
No, let's see, I'll make my comment if I may. Like so many, all of us, we think of our family members. And of course, being a long-time member of the congregation, I think of our past congregants that did so much to build our congregation and make it a real family. And I'd be amiss if I don't think about all of our veterans that have passed in this past year and years past.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I have a story to tell about my father. I was blessed with wonderful parents and inherited my father's silly sense of humor. But I remember whenever we would stay at a hotel, that he would always go up to the desk at some point when it was crowded, and he would say to the clerk, "If the governor should call, please tell him I'll be in my room."
Right. That's great. I'm sure we all have funny stories about the people we're thinking of. Anyone else want to share?
I'm thinking of a lot of people today, but I'm thinking especially of my mother, and something she was really good at that I don't know if I'm as good at, that I try to be good at, is she is very good at telling me how she felt about me and about our relationship from a very young age up until the last time I saw her, which was about a week before she died. And she just told me how nice it was to spend time with me and just sit with me. At the time, she couldn't do much else. And we were just watching our favorite TV show together. And I'm just thinking about how nice it was just to sit together.
Really lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm thinking of my grandparents. Today they had a very especially my 2 grandfathers. So I had a very complicated relationship. They were very hard men. They were always distrustful women doing anything. And especially my dad's dad, I always was butting heads with. And I always remember one time where he told me he would tie my shoes, but he bet me they would never come untied because he was a master shoe tire. And I worked all evening on untying the shoe that my grandfather had tied for me so I could win the bet. And I made a point at dinner to say, "My shoe's untied." And he kissed me because that was the bet. He would bet me a kiss. And I always think of that moment because he was he went through so much in his life. And I lost him at a very young age. And I never really got to know my 2 male grandparents. And I always think of that moment as this moment of softness that I got just a glimpse at. And I think about that a lot.
Where is he from?
Both of my grandparents are from Argentina. Yeah.
It's funny the kinds of things that we remember that stick with us or that have particular meaning. Tying your shoes.
I might share one memory now that I'm thinking about my dad, who's been gone for a long time, as has my mom, even much longer. But when I think of him now, one of the things that comes back is something he used to do, because he had these huge sort of hands, that when I think of him, I see his hands. And he used to, when we sat together on the couch, when I was a kid, or later on when they lived in Riverside and they were at our house, even when I was an adult, he would hold my foot. He actually, would put his hand around the midsection of my foot. And he did that with my kids too, of course, when they were little and not so little. And it was really comforting. And now it seems metaphoric. So I do remember that when I think of him, among many other things.
Thank you. It's those little quirky things.
My memories of my father, which are many, and he had a wonderful sense of humor, but they revolve around singing. And I think I've told this story many times, but I used to sit with my father in shul, especially on the high holidays. And we had Orthodox services. So I was really kind of sitting with the men, though nobody really mattered. And they didn't mind. And he sang in his father's choir. And so anytime they came to a prayer that had a tune, he would start singing, and then everybody would sing, and then he would harmonize away. And so I would harmonize away with him. It was a wonderful, wonderful time.
Is that how you learned to sing?
Pardon me?
Is that how you learned to sing?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. We were a really singing family. My grandfather was a cantor. And so the whole Falk family could really sing. The other funny story is a Robbie story. Robbie envied Bob Sirotnik, because when Bob Sirotnik, because I sang in the choir, and when Bob Sirotnik went like this, Carol Lee would shut up.
That's very funny. Hey, Bob, hear that?
Oh, he's not on.
Where are you, Bob? Oh, Bob. Bob.
I'm here. I'm here.
You hear that?
Yes, I heard that.
The Robbie story?
Yes, I heard the Robbie story.
Almost as good as my being able to mute Bob, too.
Well, actually, yeah, the story I know about, Ruth, when I think about Arnie was a stickler for details. And one thing Arnie was the Bob Sirotnik watcher. I recall many times I would be in services, and for some reason I'd forget to wear a yarmulke.
Oh, I remember that.
And then Arnie would just absolutely come up to me, shake his fist, and give me a yarmulke.
So you don't wear a yarmulke anymore? What is this? I remember when he said that to you.
Yes, I know. Yes, absolutely. Too many memories I could probably say for a lot of people, but yeah. Been around the temple a long time, so seen a lot of people come and go. And Ruth's family has been very important. Ruth's mother. Ruth, you're still there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ruth.
Such a beautiful
I
lady,
say Ruth
your
had,
mom.
Ruth had a absolutely
She
wonderful.
adored you. She adored you. Of course, she adored a lot of. She was an amazing lady.
A Holocaust survivor with a joie de vivre. Is that the way you pronounce
Joie
it?
de vivre.
Joie de vivre. Sorry.
That's true. She enjoyed her life, enjoyed everything, everyone. And the kids here loved her too, because she ran the gift shop with Sam Zeller and with Inez. And she would get some candy, and the kids knew if they came up, she'd have something for them. Yeah, she had a special way.
She was a truly beautiful person. Incredible.
And the apple did not fall too far from the tree.
Absolutely.
Actually, my daughter is a better picture of my mother than I am. Karen is another one just like my mother.
When you
So if I may butt in, I'm hearing so many people remembered that I also remember fondly, you know, many giants of our community like Werner Koppel and Arnie Geller and Norma Glick and you know, recently losing Robbie Jaspin. But I'm particularly touched by the memories of Sam Zoller. Judy, you got me started thinking about your dad. And in addition to being, helpful at the gift shop, on Friday nights, he would fill our sanctuary with the sound of the old Ashkenazic pronunciation of the prayers.
Yes, you did.
Shabbos was always Shabbos to him. You never heard him talk about Shabbat. and all of them, you know, and everything that goes with it.
Absolutely. I think that's the way I still hear it.
The other person to remember is Jenny Kelman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Who contributed so much to Temple Bethel.
And Harry.
Harry Weiss. Is that you mean?
How about the Elkines?
Elkins. There's so many.
Yeah.
Well, Gene Elkin is still, he happens to be in LA now, but he's still around.
Yeah. By the way, Ruth, you mentioned Sam Zoller in the gift shop. Well, he gave us this as a wedding gift.
Oh.
1976.
It's right behind us
It was
on our hutch.
turns out right behind us on our hutch. So.
Oh, beautiful.
Certain memories.
Judy, I used to watch your mother and father walking up the street hand in hand. And I thought, oh, I want to be old like that someday. And here I am walking with Danny around the same neighborhood.
I hope you're still holding hands.
Yeah.
Rabbi, I talked to Gene Elkin, and he asked me to send everybody Lashana Tova.
Thank you.
And sends his love.
Thank you very much.
Rabbi, can you hear me?
Yes?
Sari?
Yes, I hear you, Sari.
Okay, I just wanted to join in the memories of people long past. And I often think of my mother-in-law, Ray Kussner, who, along with Tilly Harris, Chick Resnick, and a number of other women, had the, Carolee's nodding her head. Yeah, these women were fantastic role models for us.
They were. Those women could really cook.
Oh, boy,
sure.
could
Oh
they.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Sari, do you want to put your video on?
I'm trying to figure out, where do I put it on? Down at the bottom?
Of your screen, the icon.
Start video?
Yeah.
There you are.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, anyway, I think that it's wonderful that people are mentioning those of our congregation that have passed, because they have made such a difference. And they're real role models for all of us.
Husband is.
They are.
One of our endearing memories of Jenny Coleman was Ryan and I were preparing for the name mitzvah. And in the morning, she finished the calligraphy for our certificates. And she called the office to let them know that she had completed that. And later that day, she passed away.
Oh,
wow.
So we hold that cherished memory of her loving act of who knew what was to come. And it was such grace as she only could. And we are so forever grateful for that.
You know, some people here don't really know that, Randy, that Jenny was a member of our choir for many, many years.
Oh, yes.
And the irony of her membership in the choir is she was nearly deaf. So having her sing in the bass section was a real challenge. You can imagine, as a conductor, because she was just so excited about singing. She loved singing so much. How could she not sing in the choir? But yes, that was
funny.
We that's what we do for our congregants.
And for years, she did Jonah.
Right.
Oh, she chanted Jonah?
Years.
Well, that's
She
true.
did.
The whole
The
thing.
whole thing.
The
The
whole thing.
whole.
The whole thing. And fast. Really fast.
Wow.
Yep.
Was so impressive.
Rabbi, I'd like to say something.
Please, please.
There's not too many men in my family, those that know me personally. In fact, there's no men left in my family. And so the memory of, believe it or not, Warner Koppel and Arnie are very dear to me. I don't think Susie or Ruth realize this. And I remember, besides getting acquainted with Susie and Werner on our Israeli trip, I remember Arnie on Ruthie, who Arnie at the sanctuary gave Ruthie. That's what he called you. And it was one of the first times I had been a newbie in the sanctuary at our temple. And he gave Ruthie a 70th birthday.
Oh, yeah.
And then Ruthie, I mean, it was just beautiful, the poem that he read and so on. And I knew there was a deep love between them, as there was a very intense, deep love with my husband, late husband, and myself. And Ruthie, you humbly apologized to the congregation. I mean, this is to me who you are. And Susie, I hope you know I love you, who you
Love
are.
you, Felice.
We love you too. You know that.
Love you
Yeah.
too.
You know
Felice.
that.
Ruthie, you humbly said, you gave your apologies to the congregation for taking up our time. And I thought, oh, this is too beautiful to believe. And it made me even more welcome to the temple. So I wanted to share that with you.
Thank you, Felice.
Okay, I'll be right in. Thank you, Elise.
Nice to see you, Felice.
I'm online right now.
Thank you, Susie.
Felice, take care. Have a good year. Stay well, stay safe. And we do love you.
I appreciate, unlike when my husband passed away, that I didn't have a support network. So the temple has given me that, and I love those of you. And
thank you.
Tina knows that I call on our high holiday and Purim Mishpacha. So
Yeah.
I'm grateful to many of you. So
We're all mishpocha.
yes, yes. Thank you.
Yeah, the holidays are not over with today. We have a Sukkot service on Friday at 6:30. And then we have a Simchat Torah service the following Friday at 6:30. So festivities continue. We hope you'll be joining us. Tim, there are a bunch of people coming in. Yeah, you said thank you. Thank you. I want to thank Tim Bell. He's been our usher for the afternoon service, and Jason was our usher for the Torah service and the Jonah study, and Christine was the usher this morning. And last night it was Jordan, so I appreciate everybody's help. We're going to transition to Neilah. Again, the day rolls into darkness. The sky spills its pinks and purples, draining to blackness. Deep inside, there is a closing, a small gate swinging shut in the mind. Those few last thoughts rush through, and a life is sealed. Outside the temple, a lone bird sounds its call, waits for response. Chatzi Kaddish, followed by the tefillah.
יתגדל ויקדש שמי רבה. ויעלמה דברי חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון ובמכון, ובחיי לכל בית ישראל. גולו בזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רב המבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה, יתברך וישתבח, ויתברך ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתהלל ותהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לילה ולילה, מכל ברכתה ושירתה. ושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בימה ויאמרו אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני, ברוך שמו אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, אלוהי אברהם ושרה, אלוהי יצחק ורבקה, ואלוהי יעקב רחל ולאה, האל הגדול הגבוה והנורא, עמל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל. וזוכר חסדי אהובים עמו מביא גואל לפני בניהם למען שמו. אתה גיבור לעם אדוני, מחי הכל תרא והושיע מוריד אתה, מקלקל חיים וחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצליח ישועה. מי כמוך הרחמים, זוכר יצורה לחיים ורחמים, ונאמרת לחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני בחיי הכל.
O Holy One, I hear and say so many words, yet yours is the word I need. Speak now and help me listen. And if what I hear is silence, let it quiet me. Let it disturb me. Let it touch my need. Let it break my pride. Let it shrink my certainties. Let it enlarge my wonder.
Zero Moshe Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avram.
Open for us a gate. One after another, things are happening to me which at another time would light up in me all the lamplights of joy. And I would walk then lovely, careful, lest they be extinguished, carrying back and forth humble thanksgiving.
Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum V'Chanun, Erech Abayim, V'Rav Chesed V'Emet. Ki anu amecha v'yata Eloheinu, anu vanecha v'yata avinu, anu avadecha v'yata Adonenu, anu kolecha v'yata chelkeinu, anu nachalatecha v'yata goraleinu, anu tzonecha v'yata ro'enu, Anu charmecha v'yata notreinu, Anu pu'ulatecha v'yata yotzreinu, Anu rayatecha v'yata dodeinu, Anu segulatecha v'yata keroveinu, Anu amecha v'yata malkeinu, Anu mamirecha v'yata mamireinu.
One last confession. Of these wrongs, we are guilty. Please join me. We betray, we steal, we scorn, we act perversely. We are cruel, we scheme, we are violent, we slander, we devise evil, we lie, we ridicule, we disobey, we abuse, we defy, we corrupt, we commit crimes, we are hostile, we are stubborn, we are immoral, we kill, we spoil, we go astray, and we lead others astray.
Bagadnu, Divarnu Davi, Hevinu,
And we've done some things right. We have aspired to reach higher. We have befriended those in need. We have created works of beauty. We have delighted in holy books. We have embraced our dear ones and held them close. We have fought for justice. We have given of ourselves. We have honored your mitzvot. We have immersed ourselves in prayer. We have joined hands to build community. We have kept our word with integrity. We have loved faithfully and well. We have moved toward the light. We have nourished and supported. We have opened ourselves to hope. We have pursued the good. We have quieted our anger. We have remembered those who came before. We have sought meaning in Torah. We have trusted and been trustworthy. We have uttered words of beauty. We have vigorously struggled to do right. We have wept over our shortcomings. We have exchanged blame for compassion. We have yearned to make life better. We have zestfully rejoiced. Bob is going to read responsively on behalf of the congregation. Avinu Malkeinu, kabel barachamim uveratzon et tefilatenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, welcome our prayer with love. Accept and embrace it.
Avinu Malkeinu, aseh lema'an rachamecha harabim.
Avinu Malkeinu, act for the sake of your boundless compassion.
Avinu Malkeinu, aseh imanu lema'an shemecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, act toward us as befits your name.
Avinu Malkeinu, hotmeinu b'sefer parnasa v'chalkala.
Avinu Malkeinu, seal us in the book of sustenance and livelihood.
Avinu Malkeinu, hotmeinu b'sefer zechuyot.
Avinu Malkeinu, seal us in the book of worthiness and merit.
Avinu Malkeinu, hotmeinu b'sefer slicha u'mechila.
Avinu Malkeinu, seal us in the book of forgiveness and pardon.
Avinu Malkeinu, hotmeinu b'sefer chaim tovim.
Avinu Malkeinu, seal us in the book Lives Well Lived.
Avinu Malkeinu, hotmeinu b'sefer geula v'yeshua.
Avinu Malkeinu, seal us in the book of redemption and renewal.
Avinu Malkeinu, maleh yadenu mi birchotecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, let our hands overflow with your blessings.
Avinu Malkeinu, petach sha'arei shamayim li tefilatenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, let the gates of heaven be open to our prayers.
Avinu Malkeinu, chadesh aleinu shana tova.
Avinu Malkeinu, renew us for a year of goodness.
Avinu Malkeinu, ein lanu melech ela ata.
Avinu Malkeinu, we have no sovereign but you.
Avinu Malkeinu, chonenu ve'anenu ki ein banu ma'asim. Aseh imanu tzedakah v'chesed v'hoshi'enu.
Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace when our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and acts of love.
Love after love. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, sit here, eat. You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ul'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shemei degudisha brichu. Le'ela u'le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Titkalbel tzalot hon avot hon, techol Yisrael kadam avohon dev'shemaya, v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Vimru Amen. Ose Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh Shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru Amen.
As the day ends, we stand as one before the gates of a new year, renewed by this day of atonement, made stronger by all who are with us and by those whose presence we feel within. As the long day fades into dusk, we join our voices in words of hope and dedication. Pitchulanu sha'arei tzedek, navo vam nodeya. Open for us the gates of righteousness, that we may enter and praise the eternal source of life. Open for us the gates of sacred community, that we may enter and feel its healing power. Open for us the gates of truth and integrity, that we may enter and grow in faithfulness. Open for us the gates of devotion and principle, that we may enter and find enduring values and meaning. Open for us the gates of repentance and return, that we may enter and offer our best. Open for us the gates of forgiveness, that we may enter and offer our humanity. Open for us the gates of kindness and compassion, that we may enter and offer our love.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Vaed. Adonai hu Elohim, 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 Adonai hu Elohim. Tekiah. Shevarim, Teruah, Tekiah Gedolah.
Now, if that doesn't wake you up, I don't know what will. Before we move into Havdalah, which is going to separate the holy day from the rest of the week and the rest of the year, I'd like again to thank so many people for making this set of services possible. All the people who chanted Torah and Haftorah, Carol Lee for training them, all the beautiful singers, even if it was 2 years ago on tape, you were wonderful. And from last year as well. Of course, Cantor Bob and Barbara for helping us celebrate once again. Once you come to TBE, you can never leave, no matter how much you try. We want to wish wonderful, wonderful things for Elise Hayton as she goes off into the next phase of her life and enjoys her grandchildren and other projects. And I know that once she takes a break, she'll be back. You can't leave, Elise, no matter what you do. We'll rope you in. And of course, a giant, giant thanks to Morris Maduro and Jory Yarmoff for extraordinary work, really amazing work. I mean, in addition to the fact that Morris has a gorgeous voice, of course, his daughter Rena probably got it from him. And Jory is an amazing guitar player and keyboard player, and he even does the drums. They are amazing editors, putting together amazing amounts of work. So Yasher Koach, Toda Rabbah. And of course, I want to thank all the other people who sang and blew the shofar, Eric Sabar and Missy Sabar, my husband Jordan, and all the other singers who joined us. And I'm sure I have forgotten somebody and I apologize, but that's why we had the volunteer video. So I appreciate all of you for being here. So many people came to celebrate with us. And I just really hope that the services helped you figure out a slightly different path, one that will make you happier and more fulfilled. So we move on to Havdalah. And after that, we're going to break some bread.
And thank you, Rabbi, as well.
Thank you.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hadachen, Borei Peri Hadachen, Yai Dai Da 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 Dai 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 Da 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 Dai Dai, Yai Dai Da 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 Dai 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 Dai, Yai Dai Da 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 Dai 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 Da 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 Dai Dai, Dai Da 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 Dai 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 Dai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei minei besamim borei minei besamim dai 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei meorei haesh borei meorei haesh Yai dai da 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 dai 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 da 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 dai 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 da 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 dai 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 Yai dai da 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 dai 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 da 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 dai dai Yai dai da 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 dai 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hamabdil ben kodesh lechol Hamabdil ben kodesh lechol Dai 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 Shana Tova, 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 a good year.
I just figured I'd hear Christmas music.
May gladness reign and joy increase. Shana Tova, Shana Tova, Shana Tova, Shana Tova. Lechem min haaretz, we give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Yummy.
Okay, everyone, you can eat now.
I'm gonna go shower.
Shana Tova to
Okay.
everybody.
I sure would like to hear a little bit of this.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova, everyone.
Thank you to everyone who participated.
Shana Tova.
Everyone.
To everyone. May it be a good, sweet year for everyone.
Rabbi and Bob, Morris, Jory, everyone did a phenomenal job. Phenomenal.
Thank you.
Shana Tova, everybody.
Great job.
Love you, Bob and Barbara.
Back to you.
Enjoy your meals.
Yes, B'Tei Avon.
Oh, wonderful, everybody.
Shana
Wonderful,
Tova.
wonderful.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.